Hi, welcome to this part of the tutorial. My name is Chiki Okoli. If you're yet to subscribe to our channel, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification so that whenever I post a video, you'll be the first to know. This morning we're going to be talking about JavaScript events. Okay, an event is something that happens when someone interacts with the web page. In other words, there are events such like when you click a button on the screen, or when you enter a text into a box of the screen. When you select something, when you resize the window, generally all the activities you do when you are browsing. And so as a programmer, you might want to trigger an occurrence or a code to run when such activities happens. And so there are a lot of events, JavaScript events that we're going to cover, but we categorize them into four majorly: the mouse event, the keyboard event, the form event, and the window and document event. And so under the mouse event, we want to see what happens when the user click on something, or what happens when the user right clicks. This is context menu event. Or what happens when the user mouses over, carries his mouse over an object on the screen, or what happens when the user removes the mouse. And so another thing we want to see is that the key down, when you press your key down, when you remove the key from the typing box, or whenever you even press the key at all, that's under the key. So on the form event, we want to see what happens when you focus your listing, when you just bring it over the form event, or when you click on it. That's the blur event, when the cursor is inside the object, the form object, the form input box, or when you change the value. Let's say you are typing the value, or when you click on the submit button. Okay, there's another one. This one happens when the web page loads. That's the load event. That's the onload event also. Then resize, when you resize your browser window. And so we're going to be exploring all that. And so I will just go ahead and open a new. I'll go ahead and use minimize all of this. I'll go ahead and use a Dreamweaver so that we can put what we have learned. It's going to be a quick one. Okay, and so we have so I'll just title this JavaScript events. I'll go ahead and save this. HTML. And so the first JavaScript event we want to focus on is the first event is the mouse event. And so we're going to start with the onclick event, and to do that we're going to click we're going to create a button. Then the button, we're going to say click me. And so we want to create an event inside the button. We're going to say onclick. Okay, what do we do? We're saying when they click, create an alert. Okay, say hello, I was clicked. And so we're telling the browser when the user clicks, trigger this. Let me also create another one. This one will be a href. I'll just I'll say click me again. And so after that I'm gonna call the onClick. So you can actually add events to any HTML element, to a paragraph, to a header, tag, to a line break, to a span. You can add it literally to anything. And so I'm just going to say alert. I'm going to say link clicked. And so we'll go ahead, locate the desktop where I saved it. So I will load it right away. So we want to test what we have done and see if it works well. And so you see when this was clicked, and so this is a pure example of an event in JavaScript. And so let's click on this, linked clicked. And so that's how you can use this when we go building a huge application. You will be learning how we can trigger events, how we can actually trigger a script to run. Let's say when the user clicks on the submit button, it collects all the detail and posts to the server. And so we're going to be seeing all that. And so the next one I want to see is the context menu event. And this event occurs when the user clicks the right mouse button on the element to open the context menu. And so we're going to test that on this link. Or let me just create another one. And so I'm gonna do that with a H1. I'm just trying to show you. I'm gonna say on context. On context menu. Okay. You notice that Dreamweaver didn't pull it out, and that's because Dreamweaver is not as updated as other text editors. Okay. So inside I'm saying when they click, you right clicked. Okay, let's see if this let me be sure. Let's see. And so when we click on it, nothing happens. But when we right click, when I click the right click button on the mouse, you see this is triggered. So you see when I click on the right click, this will up. By the time I click OK, the drop down of the right click will show. So you see all of them. And so that's on a context menu. And so there is another one I want to show you. Is it the mouse over event? And I think that's the mouse over event. Okay, we'll have two others in the mouse event before we proceed to excuse me. And so I'll just go ahead and I'll create a paragraph. And so I will do an on mouse over event here. And so as usual, I say on mouse over. So I have it here. So I'll say alert. Alert mouse over. Okay. So you see, I just carried the mouse. I haven't done anything. See, I just carried the mouse over it. But if I hover around this one, nothing happens. But once I come here, you see the alert is triggered. And so you might be wondering, but what are we doing with this? Don't worry. By the time we start building a full-fledged application, you will see the beauty of it. This is the most important tool you're going to be using because it gives you power over HTML elements. And so the next thing I want to show you the mouse event is the mouse out event. The mouse out event occurs when a user moves the mouse pointer outside of the element. Whoa. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. Okay, I'm going to just use the existing one instead of commenting it out. Let me copy paste, then comment this out. You already know how to comment, so you don't need to follow the pattern here. So on mouse out, and so now let's see how this one behaves. Now remember, initially when we mouse over, the trigger happens, but you see when we moved it out of there, we brought it back, nothing happens. But when we remove it, and so I'm sure you already know now and how to do a mouse out event. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is the keyboard event. The keyboard event and how we use that. And so I'll continue that in the next tutorial. See you shortly.